6:43 here on a Wednesday morning. It is Wednesday, and that means it's time for our Morning Cup of Joe segment. Metro Police Sheriff Joe Lombardo joining us live this morning to talk about things happening across the valley. Sheriff, good to see you once again, sir.
Good morning, John. I have to apologize first and foremost. I'm dressed down a little bit. I had shoulder surgery, so I'm on light duty right now.
Well, good luck with the recovery, and we'll send the angry letters your direction. Let's start. Let's start with the case, actually, though, from last week. A pretty serious situation that took place. We covered it here. Officers shot and killed a burglary suspect in the Spanish Hills neighborhood. The suspect is obviously deceased now, but what have detectives learned about this case, kind of what led to it, and any possible connection between the suspect and the homeowner?
First and foremost, we haven't determined any connection between the suspect and the homeowner. Unfortunately, you know, this case happened. It was a pretty dire situation, and fortunately, we responded in a timely manner. And I believe if our intervention had not occurred, there could have been serious harm to either the wife or the husband in this situation. And if you saw the video post OIS, officer involved shooting, it was a pretty dire situation with the individual. It appeared to me personally that he was in the throes of going to kill the guy with a hammer. So, but to explain the situation, there was access to this high-end neighborhood. It's up in the southwest part of the town. A citizen had alerted the in-house security to the suspect being in the area, and security attempted to locate him, was unable to locate him. Then eventually we were called to the scene by the homeowner because he had access to the residence. So what was his intent? High-end burglary. It's a high-end neighborhood, probably some good stuff to steal. Fortunately, they had some security devices, burglar alarm and all that to assist them in preventing this type of crime. But the fact that it happened. So people have to be aware no matter where you live. Yeah. You know, sometimes there's a sense of security, false sense of security when you live in a high-end neighborhood and you have your own security and you have your own alarm systems. You still have to be aware of your environment and still do everything you can to prevent that from happening.
That's a good point, the Sheriff. There's a lot of those gated communities around the valley, so it's something people have to know. You were saying?
I just wanted to clarify to the community that it's not a rash of this type of crime. We're actually down 30% in property crimes across the valley, valley-wide. So I don't want people to panic.
Well, Sheriff, let's talk about something that is increasing, and Metro Police is seeing a lot of thefts of catalytic converters. So why are these being taken out of people's cars?
God, I wish I knew. Yeah. I was just talking to my folks. Why is this happening? And I can't remember how many years ago this was a thing because of the problems we had with the salvage yards and fencing locations, auto garages, and that they were accepting them as a form of payment or, a form of barter, or, it was just a financial gain to the suspects. And then all of a sudden this started to occur again. Unfortunately, we've had over 145 thefts in the last 4 months, but we did have an arrest of 4 individuals here recently. Now my question was, has the catalytic converter thefts ceased since the arrest? And the answer is no. They're continuing to happen. So what we need is people to be aware. If there's people crawling under the car in the middle of the day, because this is happening in shopping parking lots. The most common area is apartment complex parking lots. People need to be questioned. If it doesn't seem right, it probably isn't right, and it's probably appropriate for you to call us so we can respond and deal with it. And to date, we have not identified a offense associated with this crime.
Interesting. Well,
so that point of that, though, John, I'm sorry to cut you off, John. That's not something that's unique to the Las Vegas Valley on this one either. Seattle just reported out a significant number of catalytic converter thefts in their jurisdiction here, so I'm sure it's occurring all over.
Let's switch gears a little bit, no pun intended, to New Year's Eve. We've talked about this a little bit before. It's right around the corner. What are the preparations from Metro Police? We know things are going to be different. Is it going to be different from a law enforcement standpoint?
No, the majority of it will be the same. As you know, we start preparing for New Year's Eve months and months and months earlier, be prior to the event, because it takes a lot of time and resources to bring to bear to the event. But you're right, it's going to be different this year. There's no fireworks associated with New Year's Eve along the Strip corridor. I believe the Plaza Hotel intends to do some form or fashion of fireworks and within their area, in the downtown area. Downtown specifically is still working on a permit to have the ability to do a pay-to-play type event down in the Fremont Street area, but we have the social distancing issues associated with that. So I don't know what the status of that is as we speak today, but we should have an answer this week on that. But reference the Las Vegas Strip, we're going to have the same footprint we normally have. I just looked at the numbers. We're going to have approximately 100 less officers this year as compared to last year. But the couple of the big changes is the road shutdowns, east and west and north and south. That will occur at Reno Boulevard and Spring Mountain this year. Usually it goes all the way to Sahara.
Yeah.
We changed that format, and then the complete closure of Las Vegas Boulevard will occur a couple hours later, so right around 8 p.m. versus 6 p.m. this year. So a couple changes. But we got to be prepared.
Fair enough. Sheriff Lombardo, thank you again for joining us this morning. If you have a question for the sheriff, you could submit it at 8newsnow.com and find out if it's answered every Wednesday.